So what's one of your most discouraging moments when you're on tour?
Discouraging. So I would just say about the people, because I'm in the beginning phase of this,
As far as
of
touring.
touring, yeah, of being in different cities. So Lynchburg, it's a blessing because, I do a show here, we do really well because of the fact that we've been here for so long and people kind of know the brand, they know, what they're gonna get. But when you go to different cities, it's a different thing. You can't expect Atlanta to be like Lynchburg because Atlanta doesn't know you. Lynchburg does, but Atlanta
Yeah.
doesn't. So I would say when you get out on stage and you feel like, okay, this is gonna be the show that people come to and they support and da 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 da, and then you get on the stage and then you ask the people to turn the house lights up and then you see the theater less than half full. So it's kind of like, but got to keep going. Take the bitter with the sweet and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Few, right?
Exactly. And that's what I am. I will say that even though I might get a little discouraged, and I feel like that's just natural, it's human, but I still thank God for, those who do come, because it could be nobody. So I'm grateful for those who God sent. And then I always tell the cast, I say, whoever God sends is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So regardless if it's a full house of thousands of people or if it's just 4 people, that's who God intended to be there for that day. And that's who we're going to minister to. And they know when they come on stage, and like I said, if it's and we've had, theaters full of people, you know what I'm saying? And then one city, sold out. The next city, maybe, not that, but maybe like 40, 50, 60 or whatever. So, but they still perform as if it's a packed house because those people still got to get something just like the full house did.
Yeah. Now, what is the importance of that? Because I do believe in that, whether or not it's one person or 50 or 50,000. So that way, when you make your break, you don't have to readjust. So how important is always preparing for if it's a packed house?
Yeah. Like mentally, like always preparing,
mentally, and giving that performance where you're like, okay, whether it's 1 or 50,000, I got to give my all.
Yeah. I think, my thing is, and what I do is I encourage the cast and prepare them before we get out on the road. You know what I'm saying? And I think even when I make it, I want to say, I'm still going to prepare my people, you know what I'm saying, before we get out on the road to let them know, hey, look, it could be good in one city, but you go to the next city, it may not be that great. Or when it comes to even like interaction, it could be like one city is, laughing, singing along, with you. And then you get to the next city, it might not be, might be crickets, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I've learned to also say to them and to myself that people receive things differently. Just because you have a crowd full of people that is, hollering and screaming and really enjoying themselves, and then you get to the next city and they're quiet. Well, not to say that they're not getting what they got. Maybe that's just how they react to things. And maybe the seed is being planted, and years later, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna grow into something. But you can't say, oh, well, because they were like this and now they quiet, they not getting it like they did. No. And I've learned to tell them that too, just because of the fact that we got Carl Jr. want to sit there and mess up the thing now, the little net flying around.
Yeah.
But I tell them you can't focus on that, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody receives things differently.
Okay. So you being a creative, and I know you're doing singing and you're going on the road, you started off small. Who's an inspirational figure for you? You know what I'm saying? Like who is that guiding light? And what is a piece of information that they gave you that still inspires you to this day?
My parents.
Your parents?
Yeah, my parents, because they always tell me, don't give up, keep going. You know what I'm saying? So my parents would be number one. I will say that. And my family, friends, my parents definitely number one, because they really hear all the ins and outs when it comes to the accomplishments, the highs and everything. And then they also hear the lows too. So my parents, I would definitely say.
So how important is that advice? Yet simple, but don't give up.
Oh, it's very important. We hear it all the time, but especially when you're in the thick of things, and it's kind of like, man, like I'm really going through it right now, And even though I would never give up on my passions and goals, like that, I would never do that. But just hearing that, and just, when someone that you love and you trust, they say, look, just don't give up, better days are coming. In that moment, it means so much. It means so much, especially when, like I said, you just hear it, especially when you're there, like,
Yeah.
Don't give up. Better days are coming.
Yeah, because being a creative person, what I learned about, like, making beats, podcasts, and video, your mind's always going other places. And
always going other places.
And I read something where I think like creative people suffer depression or something crazy like that more than other people.
Yeah.
So
because we go through it the most.
Yeah, because you're always pouring out.
Pouring out. Exactly. Pouring out.
So how important is it for you pouring out literally from, pen, you putting your heart into it, pouring out to other people, directing them, pouring out to the theaters. How important is it for you to refill and how do you do that?
Very important for me to refill, but I need to, I just said very important, but I need to really work on doing it more. Because my schedule, the way it is now, is just one thing after the next. And, but now I thank God because I'm Daniel Barksdale Productions. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to basically allow people to come in the space and to do what I do so that if there's ever a time where I can't do it because either I'm doing something else or I need that time to recharge, there's people that can still, do what needs to be done so that the job can get, done when it comes to the shows or business or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing now. It's very important because I haven't did it as much as I want to when it comes to just kind of taking breaks and vacations and stuff like that because I'm always working. My mind is always going as a creative. Always. Your mind is always going.
It's all 24/7. It's like it won't shut off.
It does not shut off. Even right now, I'm thinking about like, after this, I got to still go home and finish this script, or I got to send this email, or so it's your mind is always going. But I'm working on trying to just have a day, a week, or whatever, just to myself, so I can just kind of recharge. Yeah, most definitely.
I had a friend of mine, Lynn. I remember when I was doing like the podcast. I would do like motivational videos.
Yeah,
he would say take an administrative day.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I would have a day where I didn't do any videos, anything, but
wow.
It allowed me to come up with other creative ideas because I actually had to sit down and let my brain kind of work.
Yeah.
I might be watching TV or doing something, less creative, but it was like, oh man, I didn't think of that. Or I can see where this thought is fully processed.
Right.
So yeah, I really do think that's important.